are you having a good day today?
Do you like him? What about me?
Hello, and welcome back to the Oklahoma Today podcast. I'm your host, Ben Lucian, and I have just one question for you. Do you want to meet the most iconic mustache in Oklahoma? That's no question at all, because of course you do. I'm speaking of none other than legendary Oklahoma City Blazers hockey coach Doug Sauter. What's he up to these days? Well, we have that question answered right here in our new November-December issue. A great story in there. Chris and I also went out to go meet Doug ourselves. What's he up to? Well, he's got some horses, I'll tell you that. We'll hear more from Doug in a minute. But first, how about a word from our sponsor? This episode is brought to you by the Oklahoma Museums Association, dedicated to empowering the more than 500 museums across Oklahoma to strengthen their offerings and serve their communities. OMA members are an important part of the collective Oklahoma Museum voice. Members receive access to a variety of resources to help them connect to the museum profession. More information is available at okmuseums.org. All right, now it's time to hear from the rest of our editors. Has anyone here been in a hockey fight before?
I wish.
Kirsten, no? I was counting on you.
I've watched a few.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get to participate in them. Sorry.
I've had moments of aggression when we played hockey in our gym in elementary school.
I have a great story about, well, it's not great. It was actually kind of terrifying. But me and my brother used to play hockey barefoot, or actually in socks in the kitchen, on the kitchen floor, with a real puck and real sticks. Mm-hmm. And that was obviously just a recipe for, a lot of disaster and injuries. One time my mom got so mad, she broke our stick over her leg. And we still talk about it to this day.
Way to go, Mama L. Yes. We like that.
Now, moving on to something completely different. Question of the week. We asked, what is your favorite breakfast spot in Oklahoma? This is a question that we should be able to answer pretty well because a little behind the scenes, we make a lot of breakfast trips as a staff. So we've got to try a lot of places. Mm-hmm. Editor-in-Chief Nathan Gunner, where are you taking us?
This was a hard one because breakfast is my favorite meal.
Mm-hmm.
2, there are so many good breakfasts around Oklahoma that it's genuinely difficult to choose. The place that I chose to answer, I could give like 9 answers to the question. Genuinely, there's a lot of good breakfast, but the place that I end up the most is Toast and Coffee in Oklahoma City. I love it. It's not far from my house. It's at 23rd and Robinson, Northwest 23rd and Robinson in Oklahoma City. Next to the Blue Note, if you know where the Blue Note is. Just delicious. It's just it's toast and coffee. I mean, that's the menu. Various avocado toasts and different kinds of toasts and things. They have really good baked goods. Excellent. It's Eote coffee. They have their own proprietary blend of Eote coffee. And I really love it. It's kind of one of our kind of third places. We'll go there on a Saturday and just sit there and do work or hang out and chill. And
it's very cozy in there.
It's very cozy. I love it a lot. Mm-hmm. And there's a great dog that runs around in there.
Yes.
Sable, yeah.
Any place with a house dog, I mean, that takes you up a whole nother level.
Big fan of that dog. But toast and coffee, love it, love it, love it.
Yes. Megan Rossman, you like breakfast, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't eat it a lot, but when I do, I like the press. I guess that's more brunch than breakfast, though.
All right.
But
the press is really good.
I do really like the press. They have the brekkie bowl that has cheese grits and green chilies that is really good. And I love their pancakes. But if I'm doing breakfast, it's most likely I'm going through the drive-thru at Stella Nova and getting a chai latte and a bagel or a breakfast burrito. So but I like Stella Nova. If I can get into their parking lot on Western, it gets pretty backed up.
Yeah, it's popular. It's a very popular place.
It's popular.
We've had a story about white buffalo recently, and there's a white buffalo right by me now. It's on
really?
May and 122nd. Yeah,
wow.
So I've been going there recently.
Okay.
That's not my official answer, but that just triggered my memory of that.
It used to be Coffee Jerks.
Yes,
and now
it
it's White
did.
Buffalo.
And now it's White Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kirsten, what about you?
Well, it's really funny that you say White Buffalo because I don't personally, I won't eat breakfast unless we're doing our breakfast meetings or like it's just like a random time when we're like up early and we're like, all right, let's get breakfast. But White Buffalo is my favorite coffee place and they do have good food. But other than that, like if we're just going to go sit somewhere, probably like a diner type place that's like old school vibe.
Yeah.
Just
I love any place where you sit down and the table has ads in it.
Yes.
Like, that's always nice. You know?
You're in for a good
That's always
time.
a good...
yeah,
We were talking
Cattleman's.
about, like, I love
Great breakfast.
Cattleman's is a nice place to have breakfast.
Yeah.
It's, like, quiet and, like, the food's good, you know, good biscuits.
Cattleman's breakfast doesn't get enough love.
No, it
They're
doesn't.
really
It doesn't.
good.
Cattleman's is a really good place to go for breakfast.
Yeah, it is.
I also love the time when we went to Sherry's Diner.
Oh, yeah. I
South
love
side
Sherry.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
That
I
was
really,
good.
I
I
really
love
like
Sherry's.
Sunnyside Diner when we
I
went
like
there as
also
well.
delicious.
I
Yeah.
like
Theirs was
Sunnyside,
very
too.
good.
Yes.
I have to know what Carly thinks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have to know
Carly-
what Carly thinks.
I had two answers and I could not, I just couldn't pick between the two of them. The first one is good gravy because I love
Delicious.
biscuits and gravy. That's like my go-to thing now. And they have, on the weekends, they have maple bacon gravy and chocolate gravy, which chocolate gravy, every time I say that to people, they're like, oh, it's like chocolate pudding. It's not like chocolate pudding. It's like gravy, but with chocolate powder. It's so, so good. And their biscuits are like ginormous. But then also the place that Philip and I go to the most is Woodbridge, which is on 39th. And it is like an old diner type place. It's like we're always the youngest people when we go there, which makes you feel great. But also they just have amazing like home style fried chicken and, you know, pork chops for breakfast and stuff. And they serve breakfast all day.
Ooh, we like
So,
that.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And also there are, I swear, I get well done hash brown. I try to get well done hash browns everywhere I go, and nobody does them right anymore. But Woodbridge will
Really?
100%
Like when they're crispy.
Uh-huh,
and,
yeah,
oh, that's
uh-huh.
so good.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you like crispy hash browns, definitely recommend.
Woodbridge does do breakfast right.
We should do a staff breakfast there.
We
We
did.
did,
Oh, we did. That's right.
Yeah.
and everybody went to the one
It
on
was-
the south side.
It was the most
Yeah,
controversial
it's like a
one
steel
because
trap.
there was some
Half of us
confusion
went
on
to the right one, half of
directions.
us went to the south
Yeah.
side one. Yeah, that's right.
What about you, Ben?
Yes. Well, I've got two answers really. One of them is really close to us, Kitchen 324. I mean,
Right across the street. Yeah.
you've got, so on one hand, you can get a fantastic sit-down breakfast. They've got some fantastic options, like a fantastic breakfast bowl that I like a lot. But if you're in sort of a hurry, it's nice. You can go down there, you can grab a coffee, and you can look from their selection of pastries that are out of this world.
Really good pastries.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your other one?
My other one is I am a huge fan of the machaca at Cafe Cacao.
Ooh, yeah.
Has a great machaca.
What is
and machaca is like it's meat that is I guess sort of like slow roasted.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
with eggs sort of diced up in there. It's very delicious. So yeah, big machaca fan.
Did they have it at Antigua also?
Oh yes, Cafe Antigua. That was the other place I was going to mention.
Both
Thank
really
you.
good breakfasts.
I do
Yes.
like Cafe Antigua.
Can I yes and the question a little bit, just because we're Oklahoma travel experts, and we all answered Oklahoma City because we all live in this area.
Yeah.
But what's everyone's favorite breakfast place that's not in the Oklahoma City
Bramble.
area? Bramble and
And
Tulsa and
They have
Jenks.
Hatchapuri. Sorry.
Did we
Their
really?
Hatchapuri. It's a bread bowl filled with cheese sauce. I mean, my God.
Bread bowl.
There's nothing
It's like
better.
a bread canoe. It's like this long.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
The Magnolia Cafe in Durant. They've
Yeah.
got these they use the cinnamon swirl bread for their French toast. Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Delicious. What about y'all?
Yes. Kirsten. This is not English.
White
class.
Buffalo, which is
I
based
did.
in Altus.
Technically,
Yeah,
White
there's lots of
Buffalo
them.
has multiple locations around the state.
Yes.
You can find them all on their website.
Yeah.
But for another one, my diner, not in OKC, Jerry's in Weatherford. And I
Jerry's
know
in
you know
Weatherford.
it.
Jerry's
I know,
in Weatherford is legend.
Yes.
I love Jerry's in Weatherford. It's so good, yeah.
Yes.
What is
so
the Jerry's
good.
vibe?
It's a diner.
It's
like
like
it's a
the
diner.
classic diner feel. Like you can go in the morning and get like the perfect breakfast food, or you go in like the afternoon and there's like burgers and milkshakes and chicken strips and like
Nice.
club sandwiches and stuff.
There was a Thanksgiving when, like sometimes your holiday works out where you don't get to all be together on the day. So like we had our Thanksgiving on like a Saturday or something one year. So on Thanksgiving Day, my mom and I went and hiked in the Wichitas on Thanksgiving Day, and then we were coming back through Weatherford and we stopped and had Thanksgiving dinner at Jerry's. It was the best time.
I did love
Nice.
Jerry's.
Yeah, like that was where like when I was a kid, like you're a kid and they make you go sing for the Lions Club. That's always where that was. Like it's like. It's great. I love Jerry's. Good answer, Kirsten. Good answer. Jerry's.
I also want to shout out I Smell Bacon and Eufaula. That's a
Just
really,
for the name alone, right?
For the name alone, and
Yeah.
they've got great merch. And the bacon is legitimately, good. They don't
It better be if it's
underwhelm
in the
on the
name.
bacon.
Yeah. Nico, what about you?
I don't know.
You have so
I
many.
don't. I can't. I've been sitting here
We've
trying
been
to
putting
think
her
of-
on the spot.
I know. I feel
Yeah, I
bad.
know, because my first thought was Bramble.
So good though.
It
It's so
was.
good.
Well,
Or the Tulsa Tavern has a really good breakfast too, or brunch. That might be more of a
Yeah,
brunch thing,
love
but
the
it's
tavern.
really good. Yeah.
Chris, do you still
What's yours, Chris?
have an answer?
I still do because breakfast is my jam.
It's so
that's
good.
Well, so my first is Chef's Grill in my hometown of Jones, America.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Small town.
Gonna have to try that.
Scrambled, 2 scrambled eggs, biscuits and gravy, well done hash browns.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I was gonna go with Bramble, but you guys,
Stole it.
'cause I'm
Stole your
I'm in
thunder.
Broken Arrow all the time on the weekend, so.
Yeah.
And then Cafe Antigua was another one.
So good.
Because we go there all the time. And then there's the I just found a new place in Tulsa, the Big Biscuit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I haven't been there
Yeah,
yet.
it was
Okay.
nice. Yeah, it was
It's
really
been on the
good.
list. Well, the Big Biscuit that we're going to is on the, is it Midwest City? Or?
Yeah, it's Midwest
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that was good.
I mean, they
answer.
got me with the name. The Big Biscuit. That's all I need.
Say no more.
I'll have the big biscuit, please. Thank you.
And I've never been, but believe me, however you say that, I love bacon or I smell
I
bacon.
smell
Bacon.
Huh? I mean, road trip.
Best name ever.
And I have to mention, next door is the gas station. I smell gas.
That's so funny.
Just the perfect. It's probably the best named establishment
Wait,
in
is that
Oklahoma.
real?
Oh yeah, it's
That's
real.
real.
It's real.
Wow.
I
There
thought that
used-
was a joke.
No.
No,
Did
well, it
any
is a
of you-
joke, but it is also real.
What?
Oh, I was just thinking about the restaurant that was called Chair Crushers.
Oh yeah.
Off I-40,
All right.
and I think it was like in Henrietta.
Yeah.
I never went there, but I was always intrigued by the name of it.
I don't think it's there anymore.
No,
unfortunately.
it's
We can't
not.
Go try it.
It's not.
They crushed too many chairs. Can't
Yeah,
afford to stay
it's
open.
too
Yes.
dangerous.
We had a lot of great answers online. Blair Baxter Hinson says neighborhood jam in Tulsa. I love their
answer.
breakfast tacos and London fog. That's why America's beautiful, because you can have breakfast tacos and London fog in
Yeah.
the same menu and the
Yeah.
same meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gloria Trotter is a fan of Pearl's Brunch.
Pearls does have a good brunch.
I haven't
Yeah.
had their brunch before.
It's good.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
Pearl's is great. Amy Ward Piercy says Red Rock Canyon Grill. Several locations around Oklahoma.
guess I didn't know they did breakfast.
Well, according to Amy, they do.
There you go.
D. Craig Nolan says Juan del Fuego and Norman. That's a really good spot if you're looking for more of a Mexican style breakfast. Wasco Hunter says Granny's Kitchen in Stillwater.
So good.
Yeah, and there's also a couple that opened in Oklahoma City now, and they are just as good as the Stillwater one.
Yes,
So.
it's one of those classic Stillwater establishments. Stillwater has a lot of very timeless restaurants
Yeah.
there. Instagram brought us 3 separate answers for Hatch. These come courtesy of Sierra Thompson,
Yeah.
Michelle Graves, and our own Amy Brott.
As far as I know, it's the only place you can get an Oklahoma-shaped pancake.
On our last answer, Jarvix chimed in, and he said Brahms.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
You know what? Yes.
Yeah.
And
really
Yeah.
good.
egg and cheese bagel has gotten me through so many mornings.
Yeah.
I will say, Brahms, if you're watching this, the original breakfast
They're
burrito
not
recipe has tomatoes and raw onions in it. I think we could work on that.
Hear that, Brahms?
They've got different varieties you can order.
Bring it back.
Oh.
Those are better.
I've never
I'm just
had
saying-
breakfast at Brahms.
Yeah.
Their biscuits
you
and
believe
gravy
that?
I genuinely
is
don't
so
believe that.
It's
good.
very shocking to me.
That
You know
is.
what Brahms could also offer during breakfast is an affogato.
Ooh, they,
They
could
have-
do
they have
that.
all the
They have all the
Stuff
stuff.
to
Why
make.
don't
Right,
they?
yeah.
That's
That
a
would
really
be
good
great.
idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
we should-
braffogato.
I hope they are watching this. are giving them all sorts of
Also,
free
Braum should be
advice.
open 24 hours.
Ooh.
I will die on that hill.
Yeah.
Braum should be open
At
24 hours.
least
That's a
select
lot.
locations.
Yeah.
Select locations.
Yeah,
We
While
need
we're adding on, I want to shout out Big Truck Tacos too.
Really good.
Great
That's
breakfast
my go-to.
burrito.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good breakfast.
Also,
that is-
another good breakfast taco that's not far from Big Truck is Taqueria Rafitas.
Oh yeah, how
Northwest
could
12th
we
and 10.
forget?
Such good breakfast tacos.
They have
Love 'em.
great breakfast.
They have a lot of different kinds to choose from as well.
Big fan, and we're huge fans of the Bagel Place, Old School Bagel Company. And all this.
Yeah.
We've
Oh, yeah.
had many a breakfast there.
Yeah.
We love breakfast.
I'm just so hungry right now.
I know,
I'm
right?
starving.
So I think we need to bring in a
Starving.
guest interview, so maybe we can have a snack break or something. Let's hear from the legendary Coach Doug Sauter and also his Clydesdales. Well, I'm here with the legendary Coach Sauter, Oklahoma sports legend, really, former head coach of the Blazers. But you're a man's man, and we're here to see your collection of horses, your Clydesdales.
Well, yes, Mr. Bob Funk started this in 1998 with my help, and I've been part of the Clydesdales ever since, and I've kind of stepped back and have my own horses now that I take to parades and one thing and another, but this is a beautiful place here in Yukon, Oklahoma. It's free to the public. We invite people to come out. You can make an appointment or you can just kind of show up, and it's a wonderful place with some beautiful horses.
And how many Clydesdales do you have out here?
We have about 15 horses, 15 Clydesdales, and then we have 16 percherons. So the percherons are what we show. The Clydesdales are what we use for public relations.
Very cool. Well, I've seen Clydesdales on TV, but I've never been this close to one in real life. So,
Well, you'll get to meet a whole bunch
well,
of them
let's check it
inside.
out.
Okay. Oh yeah.
That's a big horse.
Yeah, there. Oh, how are you, Ned?
Ned is
Say
very
hello to
affectionate.
Ben.
Hi,
They're all-
Ned.
They're all this way. They're gentle giants.
Okay,
They know their limit. They have and
I'm gonna take your word for it, Coach. It's my twin. Hi, Ben.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep. You can step right in with them.
All right.
When you get the sign in, just rub them up on
Yeah. Hi, Ben. I'm Ben too. Yeah, this is definitely Ben 1. I'm Ben 2 for sure.
there. A Clydesdale horse will drink somewhere around 20 gallons of water a day. A little less, of course, it depends on heat and sweating and one thing and another, but you can count about 20 gallons a day per horse. Feed-wise, they'll eat 1% of their body weight, which is about 20 pounds. Of course, when you're showing them and you're needing them to have a lot of energy, you might increase that a little bit. They do get vitamins, they do get supplements and one thing and another to make them healthier and shinier and stronger. And then about a bale, close to a bale a day, 3/4 of a bale. Not a lot more than an ordinary working quarter horse, but I would say 25–30% more.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Hi, Cog. Hi. That is wow. See, I'm just a city slicker. This is all very new to me.
This is the one that was in the magazine.
Very pretty.
Yeah. Hello, old man.
The Dalmatian of horses.
Yeah. Back up. Back. Back. So he's my talking horse.
Yeah.
Ask him if he likes hay.
Do you like hay? Oh, what? Do you? Oh, this is like a Mr. Ed situation. Are you having a good day today?
Do you like him? What about me?
You've been showing us around at all your horses with all your horses. It's been fantastic.
Well, it's been a wonderful day, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it more work to look after the horses or to coach a hockey team?
Well, I think the hockey team is more prestige.
Yes.
Working in a team concept and trying to put together, 20 players that can bring a championship back to a city, and when I moved here in 1995 to coach the Blazers, of course, that very first year, a year after the bombing, was able to win a championship and bring some smiles to faces, and it was a challenge, but the result was wonderful, and it was a great way to kick off a 15-year career coaching in Oklahoma City.
Yes. Well, that's important work, and I didn't realize before we'd started talking recently, you had made like a dozen stops in your coaching journey before arriving in Oklahoma. I guess and you're still here today,
Yes.
obviously. So what sort of sold you on Oklahoma, I guess?
Well, I often refer back to when I was probably 13 years old. The Oklahoma City Blazers were on a calendar in Canada with all the other championship teams. And of course, I was a rodeo fan, and we had the NFR was here in Oklahoma City, and it's the closest that I've coached to home in Saskatchewan. It's 1,200 miles home, so a lot of people would come down to Oklahoma City on their way to Texas for retirement. And when I was coaching out in Wheeling, West Virginia, and Winston-Salem and Springfield, hardly ever had a visitor.
Right.
But this was more to home. Agriculture, horses, rodeo, a great sports mecca with the OU and OSU, et cetera. And I was able to fit right in. My two boys played hockey here. They had a good minor hockey league program, and both of them went on to bigger and better things. And Oklahoma just felt very, very natural. And then after meeting Mr. Bob Funk and Express Ranches, Express Employment Professionals, we become best friends, and he welcomed me to their family of companies, and everything's been wonderful since.
You grew up in Saskatchewan, right?
Right.
Yes. So I can see that there probably are similarities between Saskatchewan and rural Oklahoma, right?
If Oklahoma City had mountains, 70 miles away, it'd be identical to Calgary, because they rely on the oil and gas business and agriculture and tourism.
Yes.
And if we did have a set of mountains in Oklahoma, it would be pretty cool.
Right.
But I find Oklahoma a very interesting place, lots of heritage. The people are very kind, and there's been all kinds of disasters and everything that hit here, but the people are very resilient, and I just love the way of life here in Oklahoma City.
When you came to Oklahoma, I mean, what did you know about the state?
Well, it was agricultural based, and they had the pro team here, the old Blazers, and one thing another, and there was all the talk about the new building coming, which when it opened was the Ford Center, and we got to be part of that. And then, I think Oklahoma City is only a place that can support one professional team, and there was a race, and the basketball team came in. Of course, the years that we rescued New Orleans after Katrina and all that went on, it proved that Oklahoma City and the state of Oklahoma could definitely support an NBA team, and they're off to a great start.
Oh, yeah.
I like how they've made their team.
And they've got several Canadian players.
Yes, yeah, and it's all makes quality of life. And I think quality of life here, you can go to the big cities in Dallas and Kansas, or get on a plane and go anywhere. We live out here in Yukon on a nice little horse ranch. Brenda and I have really found a wonderful home here, great neighbors and friends, and we are still a part of the scene of Oklahoma, and I love your shirt today.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll
have to get
great stuff around here, but you don't have
I do not.
the Blazers jacket that I'm wearing. So I will say that.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me smile when you see something like that showing up in the parking lot at the Clydesdale Barn with your blazer sweater on, sort of thing?
Well, the Blazers, you and coaching the Blazers, I mean, were responsible for introducing hockey to a lot of Oklahoma fans who weren't maybe as familiar or close to the sport.
Well, the OU and OSU, of course, on each side of the city, and we were a nice fit in between. There's a lot of people that live in Oklahoma that do not have ties with OU or OSU, and they wanted their own team. And tickets were affordable, the product was good, the rivalries were wonderful.
Those on game days, it was really it was the place to be. You
Oh,
get rowdy
without a doubt, at the press conference when they introduced me here, I had one older fan, I think he was over 85, and he was waiting for a chance to talk to me, and he would start towards me, I could see him out of the corner of my eye, and then he would stop. Someone else would come in, one of the TV stations or radios or whatever. Finally, he got his chance, and he had his blazer jacket and his blazer cap on. He says, "Good luck, Coach." He says, "You only have to win 12 games a year, That's when we play those jerks from Tulsa." And that kind of sent me a message, whoever your rival is, if you can beat them every time, you'll hold.
There's a bit of a rivalry there.
Yeah, without a doubt. And people had fun though, and like I say, it was affordable. And our players did a wonderful job interacting with the people and after the games and the autographs and the promotions that we did. And we were number one in town. And then the NBA came, and of course, both OU and OSU got stronger. I think 1995, the two universities were pretty well on the bottom rung. And then their football, basketball, softball, baseball, all evaluated, and there's only so many entertainment dollars.
That's true.
And we tried 4 years with the Barons, and we did okay, but it was never the same feeling as the Blazers.
Oklahoma City doesn't have like a big professional team right now for hockey. What do you think of that? Is there like a
well?
There's
there's just not the advertising money. I said before, there's only one pro team that can really do a job here in the NBA or here, the Thunder or here. There are a couple of university club teams that play at Blazers Ice Center and up at Arctic Edge. One of my former players, Peter Arvanitis, is the coach of the OU team and one thing and another. And there's also a very, very good team of 20 and under teams. They're called the Warriors. And they play at a high level of hockey, and a lot of those players will go on to NCAA scholarships and maybe turn pro someday, and they've got their start here in Oklahoma City. And I had the privilege of dropping the puck for the first game
very cool.
at the start of this season and watched the game. Unfortunately, they lost in overtime, but they've got a highly competitive team that I think come playoff time, they'll be ready to win a championship.
Do people still recognize you as the Blazers coach? You still got the iconic mustache, of course.
Well, unfortunately or fortunately, they do, yes. I get called coach more than anything, and that doesn't bother me. I was very proud to be the coach of Oklahoma's team, and there was only 2 pro coaches in the state, and I was number 1. We always beat Tulsa, so give Tulsa a little dig there. But people have been wonderful. And we take the Clydesdales to the fair, my wife Brenda and I, and sit there and we can visit with people all day long saying the coach. And in fact, probably the best story this year was, Brenda was exercising 2 horses at a time and I was cleaning stalls. And some fellow with a OU shirt and cap on, he says, famous hockey coach cleaning stalls. He says, why would you be doing that? And I said, because Bob Stoops didn't come to work that day.
That's hilarious.
He didn't know what to say. So anyway, but I've met the fraternity of sports people, and Bob Stoops, I recall, is a friend of mine. I cheer for both teams. You know, and they're both going through a little bit of a troubled time, and you know, I feel for them. But that's the coach in me. I don't miss the politics and one thing or another of the hockey. I do miss the games, and I do have NHL live or whatever, and I get to watch hockey every night and every morning on the fly, and I keep in touch with it all very, very, very much.
Can you tell me a little bit about the mindset of the players, the level of players that would play for the Blazers? I mean, it's not like playing in the NHL. So what does it take to be kind of a successful player at that level?
Well, you have to have skill, of course, and one thing or another, and identity. And we had that. We had an array of people, from the tough guys to the goal scorers like Joe Burton, and the finesse players like Doug Sauter, my nephew. And you know, our teams always had great character. Tyler Fleck was a great defensive defenseman, and I'm going to miss out on a few guys, but they all were. I held them responsible. I wanted them to be able to, you know, go on, whether it be in hockey, but there's a lot of ex-players that are here. Connors, Durrell, Robertson, Marty Standish, all are here. They've married Oklahoma girls. They're raising families.
Well,
they're being
tremendous,
they're being good dads and good people in the community.
It's cool that so many of the Blazers people have found homes in Oklahoma, because they're all, you know, from all over.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. Marco Cefello has done very well. He lost his house here to a house fire a few months ago, and everybody rallied around him and for him and one thing and another. And but that's the kind of place that we live, Oklahoma. The whole state is that way.
Right.
You know, everybody's willing to give a helping hand.
Yes. The Blazers played a lot of games in the old Myriad, and that's the site that's sort of been selected, I guess, as the new basketball arena. Like, how is it, like, a little sad to you that, like, that might go away, or how do you feel about
that? Well, yeah, in some ways, but you can't stop progress, you know. And there's been several buildings. There was a building in Calgary that was the Calgary Corral that I coached in for 5 years and played 1 year, and the Flames played there, and one thing and another, and they dismantled it. And it was, you know, it always takes a little bit out of you, but that's what memories are for, is to remember those good old days. And, you know.
Well, you've got all the history in here,
well,
you know?
everything's here. It's been fun putting all this together and collecting and everything, and guys like yourself that show up with a Blazers deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any piece in here that, like, you like the most, or anything that means the most?
No, not really. The mascot was me for a number of years, and one thing and another, and there was just all the different team sweaters and all that sort of thing. The autograph sticks. The valued one is Wayne Gretzky as a value.
Now, do people just give you Blazers stuff?
You know, my dad was a big fan, and you know, we've kind of went through all his stuff, and he's got some Blazer stuff, and I know that you would take it. You know, different things have showed up, sort of thing, and they're all appreciated. What I need to do is go buy a bar in Bricktown and call it the Blazers Bar.
That would be,
put all this stuff in it.
That would actually go over really well.
I think it would. But, I'm not going to stay up till closing time.
That's true. It's a lot of work, for sure.
Yeah.
Is there truth to the story that at one point did you save a lady by biting a horse on the ear?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that story. I've got to hear about that.
We were at the state fair at a show, and we had, I think we had 14 or 15 six-horse hitches, and when the horses go in the arena, you check them. You pull a small chain up in their bridle and hook it to their bit, and then that makes the horse kind of bow his head a little bit. And I was helping with the Express Clydesdales, and I heard a racket, and a horse got spooked and it lost its bridle.
Oh boy.
And the guy that was on the seat, the owner, now only had control of 5 horses, not 6, and they bolted. And his wife, unfortunately, was reaching in trying to grab this halter, and she got trampled on and broke some ribs. She was okay, but the driver did a tremendous job by circling the hitch, and he circled it, and the wagon was sliding sideways. Now this wagon weighs 3,000 pounds, and there's 5 or 6 horses still. Well, the one mare slipped and fell, and in a wild horse race in rodeo, there's 3-man teams. One is the anchor guy on the rope. The second guy goes up and grabs the horse around the head and will bite his ear and stymie him. And the third guy puts the saddle on quickly, and then they have to ride it across a white line, and they call that the winner of the wild horse race.
Okay.
Well, I grew up watching that, so I knew that this big horse, once he fell down, if I could immobilize him, that would stop everything.
Right.
So I jumped on his head and I bit as hard as I could for at least 5 minutes.
Wow.
And we had a great team of teamsters and other people come in and pull harness and unhook horses and everything else. And just before that mare fell, as the driver was coming around, I told him to jump, and it was probably the greatest WWF wrestling move. I caught him and put him over my my head. He broke his wrist, but I got him out of there, and then I got up and got on top of this mare and bit as hard as I could.
Wow, what a
and
great
then I did it one other time at the Calgary Stampede with one of the chuck wagon horses got injured, and
Wow. So it really works.
Well, it works. Yes. If somebody bites your ear, you're not going to move either.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be really confused.
Yeah. But no, it was just something that, it was spur of the moment. You didn't have to think, well, was I going to get kicked or whatever.
Right.
Once I got on top of the horse and I saw the other horses that was in front of its foot, about a foot away from me, I was a little bit concerned,
Right.
but everybody did a great job unhooking, and I wasn't the only hero of the day. There was a lot of people, including the driver of the hitch that circled them, where they didn't get into a high traffic area.
You had the initiative to bite the ear, which I would not. I wouldn't be anywhere near that.
I think there's 1,000 cowboys out there that would jump on and bite a ear to help save a wreck with people.
Well, we're here with one of them. So, when did you start growing the mustache? Like,
Well, when we were playing major junior hockey, that's 20 years and under. Our team was like the New York Yankees. We couldn't have sideburns, we couldn't have mustaches, we couldn't have beards. And in my final year, I showed up with nice long sideburns. That would have been about 1970 or so. And there was actually about 5 of us players, and the coach called us into a room and he says, where do you want to be traded to? Nowhere. Well, what about you? Where do you want? And he says, cut those sideburns or you're gone. So the next day practice, we had no sideburns. And so when I started coaching at the age of 20, I wanted to be different. I still looked like a player. I was 20 years old, and the guys I was helping coach were 20 and 19 years old. So I grew a mustache and give me some identity away from the team. Well, when I was coaching in Calgary the very first year, I took the same initiative to say, listen, no sideburns, et cetera, et cetera. No mustaches. Knock on the door, and in comes Rocky Greenwood, captain. Very nervous, sat down at the table, and I said, what can I do for you, Rocky? He says, the guys on the team want to know why they can't have a mustache and you can't. And I said, well, tell them that if we're in a restaurant and we're all eating and somebody comes and says, who's the coach? You just point over and say, the guy with the mustache. Well, Rocky was so nervous, he says, thank you. And he got up and he went in, and I kind of followed him to the door and cracked it open. And they're all sitting there. He said, what did he say? He says, well, if we're in a restaurant and somebody wants to know who the coach is, just point point to Coach Sauter.
Right.
And they all started throwing stuff at him and everything else. But that was the way it was. And, you know, when we turned pro, we had players with mustaches and long hair, but once you get there, you can have your own identity in that way. But my philosophy was you're playing junior or whatever.
Right.
You know, clean cut, be a clean cut athlete and be responsible for not only your play on and but off the ice as well.
Yes. Well, and a lot of those players, you know, are responsible for the image of their, you know, community. I mean, these are people that, you know, the fans, you know, look up to.
Well, in my 15 years here, we only had one incident where there was a little action at a bar one night, and the bouncers, it was the bouncers against the hockey players, and the bouncers didn't win.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately had one guy that kind of initiated it, and then he went back to try to redo it.
Oh boy.
And he was playing in Memphis, I think, the next week, somewhere like that. No tolerance. And, you know, the one thing that I can say about the Thunder, after their first year, they had one guy that was a little bit off the wall. The Thunder have been role models for the whole state and the whole franchise. That's one thing that I commend the coaching staff and the management about. There's been no controversies like you hear in other places, and it was just that one guy. I think they called him Birdman.
Yes, Birdman.
Yeah, and he was a little different and off the wall, and you know, I don't know where he ended up playing, but he wasn't my style of player.
Hockey players, I feel like, are built a little different. Like, it takes a special kind of person to be a hockey player, right?
Well, a little bit. You can't get big and bulky because everything's hand-eye coordination. I've seen players put on 10, more, 20, 25, 30 pounds in the off-season, and they've lost their touch with their stick. The stick has got to be part of your body because you got to control the puck that way. So, you know, you'll see some players that are really well built and one thing or another, but they got to keep their finesse and they got to keep their touch.
Right. Well, I was just thinking, like, if you had to pick, who would make a better hockey player, like an Appaloosa or the Clydesdales that we went to saw? And well, maybe it's the Appaloosas. They're a little more nimble. I don't know.
They're, I think more athletic would be the Appaloosas, you know, the quarter horse type animals, the smaller ones. But no, my doctor always has a little quote for me. The first time he used it, he said, I said, "Doc, well, what do you think?" He says, "You're healthy as a horse." I thought that was a pretty good compliment. He left the room, and then he opened the door and he says, "But you're a Clydesdale."
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Now the Appaloosas, that came from you, the Pawnee Bill Ranch.
Right.
Like, what's the story there?
Well, Wayne Spears, who played Pawnee Bill for about 20 years, was a great ambassador for the state, for the Pawnee Bill show, the museum, and everything else. And he lived in Pawnee, Oklahoma, and he had a horse called Y, and that was his favorite horse that he rode. And he rode him in the arena as the announcer for the, you know, for the rodeo. Well, it wasn't a rodeo; it was a Wild West show. Right. And we just became friends, and we traveled together. And he had an extra Appaloosa that he'd let me ride all the time. Right. He rode Y, and we called this one Why Not. And when he retired, he gave me Y the horse, and it was the best deal ever because I fed him, shot him, looked after him, and everything. And Wayne could borrow him anytime he wanted. Yeah. So it worked out good. And then we lost Y with age. He was 30 years old, and I've got some pictures around here where I'll have to pull out of Wayne and I and one thing and another. And he got me into the Appaloosas, and then I bought Z. And you'll have to get a picture of the door, the barn door. there was a great horseman in Oklahoma City. His name was Lonnie Shockley, and he always had teams at the fair, and he did the chuck wagon festival at the Cowboy Hall, and you'd see him at Christmas parades and everything else. He unfortunately passed away, and they dispersed of his old harness and everything.
Okay.
And I went to his barn, and on the door of a barn was the index of all the horses that he had.
Oh, okay.
So you have to take a
Wow.
picture of my door.
That's interesting.
When we came home, and Brenda and I took time to think of all the horses that are not only still here, but
Yeah.
we've sold and unfortunately passed away. And it's about a half a door full.
Yes.
It's I've had a lot of horses touch my heart.
Yeah, we've encountered a lot of horses today. I mean, do you just see each one of their individual personalities?
Very much so. Yeah, you have knotheads, and you have sweeties, and you have pushers, and
Like
you even
hockey
have,
players, you know?
Yeah, even have one that talks to you.
Right. Yeah. That was the best conversation I've had in a while.
Well, no, it's fun. It's fun. Everybody loves their pets, whether
Yes.
it be a horse or a dog, or Lily the Longhorn that's out here that you got a couple of pictures of, and dogs and cats. We've got 10 new kittens here. and
Yes, I've
I
noticed
lost my
that.
dog
You're trying
Layla.
to unload them
Yeah.
on me.
My dog Layla was a tremendous dog, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get another one
Right, yeah.
like her, sort of thing. So we've just stepped back from the dog business, and they're enjoying our freedom to go wherever and not have to worry about the dog. But she was a tremendous dog and made friends everywhere she went, and she was a part of me a great deal. And life goes on, life changes. Buildings get blown up like the Myriad's going to be, and something new is put in. The same with out at the state fair. You know what a wonderful memory-filled building that is, with all the basketball that went on there for the big house they called it, and all the horseshoe shows and different events, the rodeo, all the different things that went on. Tornado got rode there by Freckles Brown. The building only holds about 13,000 people, but over 22,000 people saw it. They'll all say, "Oh yeah, I was there." I go, "Well, that makes you the 22,110." So legends grow, and everything else. But it's been
animals help a lot.
Yeah. Oh, they're a dog is a man's best friend. Yeah, it's different. But I also believe in the circle of life. That things come into this world and leave this world and are replaced by others. And I believe in the Rainbow Bridge, where all the animals will greet us someday.
And we can just look forward to that day when
You
it comes.
bet.
Yes. Well, Doug, you born in Canada, but you're Oklahoma through and through. The article that your Carol Bond wrote, it's in our magazine out now, our new November-December issue. So you showed us some horses. We had a great time. Thanks for having us out.
Well, thank you very much, and keep up the good work. I enjoyed. I got a sneak preview of the magazine, and I've read it. I've had it before.
Yes.
And it covers the whole state with up-and-comers and places to go and recipes and different ideas and everything else. And it's a wonderful magazine that makes Oklahoma a better place to live.
Yes, we got that on camera, right? No, Doug says subscribe, so you got to subscribe now.
Yeah.
So while you and Chris were out doing that interview, we roasted a pig and we ate. So we're completely full now. So if you're still hungry, sorry, we didn't leave you any.
Well, full disclosure, I was a little scared of those Clydesdales. I mean, those are some massive animals.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they made animals that big, frankly.
Yeah, but all you needed to do was like roll around on the floor and slither like a snake, and they'd
Oh.
be like, "Oh!"
I would be afraid to do that.
I
They
would
could
not
crush me.
recommend
might stomp
spooking
you,
the Clydesdale
yeah.
horses.
Yeah.
But they are gentle giants, for real. I got to pet them, So that was
awesome.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have
I
to
wanna
reach
meet a
up to
Clydesdale.
pet them, or? Were
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're way taller than me. They're like little dragons.
I can't wait to see this interview.
It'll be worth the wait. It's once again Podvent time. This is where we go through the travelocade.com event calendar, pick out a few of our favorite gyms. Is there anyone who would like to go first this week? Kirsten is volunteering.
I got you.
Our research editor, Kirsten Stone. Thank you.
Giddy up, y'all, and head on down to my hometown of Anadarko to partake in the Cowboy Town Christmas. The 7th annual celebration is set to include many family fun activities such as visiting the sheriff's office, taking pictures with Santa, stopping by the petting zoo and bounce house, and trying your hand at riding the mechanical bull. For a tamer ride, though, guests can hop on board the live nativity trailer for a scene-by-scene telling of the birth of Christ, or take a barrel train ride through the enchanted elf forest. What is in the elf forest? I don't know, but you should go find out.
Elves.
Yes, elves. Elf magic. I
Of
don't
the
know.
Keebler variety or what?
I don't
If
know.
it's Keebler, I'm in.
Someone
Either
has to go
way.
and report back for us.
Yes.
There's also a number of spots for photo ops under the lights and all around the Christmas atmosphere. And don't miss a visit to the saloon, though, for a cup of homemade hot chocolate and a plate of signature cowboy chow.
Oh.
Tickets are limited, so get yours quick to experience this Old Western holiday extravaganza on December 14th, 15th, 21st, and 22nd. Tickets and more information can be found at facebook.com/cowboyadventure-starts-here.
Nice.
What is cowboy chow? Do we know?
I don't know.
TBD.
like cowboy caviar, but
Yeah, that's what Mike
Yeah.
just
Probably
said.
just like cowboy
I bet
food,
it's like
chili.
I don't
and
know.
beans.
It's
Whatever
probably
it is,
chili.
it's
Yeah.
signature, and I've heard people rave about it, so it's good.
Okay.
Yes.
just
Awesome.
another reason to attend this event.
I
Yeah.
know. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, I'll go ahead and go second. You might know him as the guy who produced the Beatles, Paul McCartney, and Pink Floyd. You might also possibly know him from the iconic album based on Isaac Asimov's I, Robot, decades before Will Smith got a hold of it. But me, I know him as the guy whose music plays when you're about to see Michael Jordan, and this is Sirius, the tune from the Alan Parsons Project. Look that up. It was the Chicago Bulls theme song back in their 90s heyday. I am, of course, speaking of none other than Alan Parsons, the production genius behind the art and progressive rock titans, the Alan Parsons Project. You can see the legend out of London for yourself this weekend, Saturday, December 14th, at Tulsa's Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Spend your night with the man behind the boards for such monumental albums as Abbey Road and The Dark Side of the Moon. I can't promise you that the Michael Jordan will be in attendance, but Parsons is the Michael Jordan of early 70s British rock production, so close enough. Tickets are $69.50 to $89.50. Call 918-384-7800 or visit tickets.hardrockcasinotulsa.com.
That sounds cool.
Yes, I actually got to interview Alan Parsons one time.
Really?
Yeah,
How was
yeah.
that?
Cool.
It was surreal. I mean, talking to a guy who was there for the making of Abbey Road and Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, two of the most iconic albums ever made. Yeah.
I know. I feel like I would be like, does your brain explode every day when you think about who you are and what you've seen?
Yeah.
That would be
and
my
he
question.
he just plays it off like it's no big deal. He's a cool guy though.
That's cool.
Carly, what's your event this time?
With all the wish lists and grocery trips and plane tickets and decorations to buy, the holiday season can feel like one big financial hole from which you may never recover.
Yeah.
Remembering why we celebrate in the first place is a great way to get the It did. Remembering why we celebrate in the first place is a great way to get the fa la 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 back in your step.
Ooh.
And what better way to do that than watching It's a Wonderful Life in an equally wonderful setting. On December 15th at the historic Coleman Theater in Miami, for only $5, folks can watch George Bailey learn the most valuable lesson from his bumbling guardian angel. It's not wealth, but love that gives life value. Call 918-540-2425 to find out how to purchase tickets. And you don't have to listen to my terrible Jimmy Stewart
That was
impression
great.
anymore.
I didn't know we would have a visit from the Jimmy Stewart.
I just hope
on the show.
that
Okay.
if you go, please
I wasn't sure what that
film
was.
yourself walking up to the Coleman Theater and going, "Hello, movie house." That was really good. Yours was better than mine. That was good.
I'm impressed.
That was nice.
That's star of the show territory.
Right there. I think that earring is the star of the show.
Megan, what is your event this time?
Oh, well, let's see, shall we? Okay, so in 1894, Marshall McCulley built a 2-bedroom sod house in what is now Aleen, Oklahoma. Am I pronouncing the name of that town right? I hope so.
Aleen.
Aleen? Okay, well, I apologize. Aleen. He used thick pieces of buffalo grass from the surrounding prairie, and his family lived in that house until 1909. And after they upgraded to a wood frame house on the property, they kept using the sod house for storage until Oklahoma Historical Society purchased it in 1963. But on December 14th of this year, visitors are invited to the house and adjoining museum for a Quilter's Christmas, the Sod House 130th anniversary celebration. Christmas trees throughout the museum will be decorated with quilt blocks, while Silver Strings and Friends will play country, Christmas, and gospel tunes, and the Friends of the Sod House will provide cider and treats while they raffle off a queen-sized chickadee and tree-themed quilt. So for more information, you can visit okhistory.org and click on the calendar tab.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a really cool event.
That Sod House Museum, if you've never been there, it's really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they did a really nice job. And
I swear I want to learn how to quilt. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to, but I want to.
It's very complicated.
It'd be
It'd be
great.
much easier to win a quilt.
Yeah, I'll just go and win that one.
there are a lot of
absolutely
quilting
true.
classes you can take.
Nathan, are there any quilts in your event?
No, but there are. There is fabric.
Okay.
So we've all got our New Year's resolutions, right? And it's always like, oh, I'm gonna run more, right? But what if we
Yes.
could embrace running while ugly?
Oh,
Right?
I'm there.
Like no one looks good while they're ugly or while they're running, right? No one looks good while they're ugly. No one looks good while they're running. So if you could just run with the freedom to be ugly, I've got you. Saturday, December 4th at Mitch Park in Edmond, starting at 3:30, there will be the Ugly Sweater Run. This is exactly what it sounds like. You put on an ugly sweater, you run. There's a 5K or a 1 mile fun run. The 5K is untimed, so serious runners, come on. Bring a coat to donate because they will give you a light up necklace to wear with your ugly sweater while you run, so you get a little bit of tinsel, a little bit of lighting when you're running. The ugliest sweater wins a prize, of course. Registration is $25 and includes a long sleeve T-shirt. The first 100 people to sign up will get an ugly sweater Christmas ornament to hang on their tree. So call 405-359-4630, or there's a web link to sign up. It's way too long to describe here, so we're going to drop it in the comments on YouTube, or in the description on the YouTube video. So if you're listening on audio, just go to our YouTube channel and find this video, and the link to sign up is in the comments, or in the description, not the comments, the description. We're still new at this.
Yeah.
Or just Google it.
I don't know what things are called.
Just Google it and
Yeah.
figure it out.
Or- Even that is a challenge. So I really recommend going to the YouTube. Yeah, and finding it there.
I'll need to check that out because, a lot of times the people, they'll say they're wearing an ugly Christmas sweater, but I don't think it's ugly at all.
No, it's the thing. Like people,
Like, it's
yeah.
just Christmas, which is
think,
fine.
I think you could win.
But ugly's got to be, this is an important part of the ugly
I think
Christmas
if you dedicate
sweater.
yourself, you could take this one. Yeah.
Well, it's time for the start of the show. And, well, first of all, I've got to give it to Doug Sauter and his championship show horses. It's not just because Kong, the black percheron, could snap me in half if he wanted to. But, yeah, it was so nice of Doug to come on the show, and he was great. I've also got to give a shout-out to Carly's Jimmy Stewart
Really good.
Yeah, that was.
impression.
Yeah.
I mean, spot on, really.
It was like he was in the room with us.
It really was, yes. Any other stars of the show?
That earring.
Oh, yes.
They made a break
The
for it
earrings.
right in the middle. Yeah.
They're back, really. Well, that's all we have for you this week. This has been the show known from here to Boise City, home of Simmy the Dinosaur, as the Oklahoma Today podcast. Head to oklahomatoday.com or pick up our latest issue on newsstands right now. Send your feedback to oktpod@travelok.com. I'll talk to you again next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good
Happy
show.
holidays.
Yeah.
Hello, Lily.
Well, she
Oh, you're
looks happy
good.
to see you.
Oh, yes. Yes. How are you? Oh, yes. You're a good girl.